Dave Morris, the Oklahomans Video Studio, joined by some very smart gentlemen this morning. You know, we talk to all sorts here at the Oklahomans Video Studios, whether it's a Michael Jackson impersonator or an artist or whatever. These are some smart guys here, doctor. Presbyterian Health Foundation's awarded $3 million to 2015 grant recipients. Let me introduce our guests. Right next to me is Dr. Jim Tomasek. Very nice to meet you, and thank you for stopping in. Sure. Appreciate that. Tom Gray, President of the Presbyterian Health Foundation.
Thank you.
And Dr. Paul Kincaid rounds out our, unfortunately we should be dealing cards or something here. Gentlemen, very nice to meet you, and thanks for stopping in this morning. Tom, I'll start with you. The $3 million to the grant recipients, that's a large chunk of change.
It's a big chunk. It's the beginning, though, we hope. The Presbyterian Health Foundation has kind of really transformed itself from back to its original roots, which was a big supporter of research and scientific research in the Oklahoma Health Center community. About 10 years ago, we began developing the research park out at the Health Science Center, and the Presbyterian Health Foundation Research Park was really our primary focus. About 3 or 4 years ago, our board of trustees went through a very strategic planning process and realized that funds for basic science research were starting to decline. And we made the decision really to change our focus back to basic science research. That's why we're here today. The foundation is now funded by a corpus of over $170 million. That's generating income each year that we are planning to provide for support of medical research within the state of Oklahoma and other medical research and education.
Well, I guess we should identify who are the recipients this year.
Well, the recipients this year, we had over 100 applications. I think we have funded 51 of those.
Wow.
For a total of over $3 million. For the year, our total grants will be over $4 million, but $3 million to this latest round of research grants and education grants, primarily to the University of Oklahoma Health Science Center, the Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation, Dr. Kincaid and his group, and then other entities within the Health Science Center, Children's Medical Research, the Goldman Blood Bank, Oklahoma Blood Institute. So the money's been spread around, but the biggest chunk is going to scientific research for these two entities, and we're very proud of it.
Well, that is fantastic, and Dr. Kincaid, I'll throw it over to you.
Okay.
What does this money do for you guys?
I'm happy to tell you. Let me first of all thank PHF for having the courage and initiative to take this on. It's never been a more important time with respect to need, and it's also a very important time, most I've ever seen, with respect to opportunity in medical research. Over a 2-year period, OMRF will receive $1.3 million, which we'll leverage with money from private donors. This year we have, so far we have 11 projects that are being catalyzed, scientific projects being catalyzed by it, and we're bought 11 new instruments for a new technology and upgraded other instruments that everybody on the campus can use. And it's kind of hard to evaluate success in medical research. It takes a while to see how things play out, but we do know we're selecting good science. 4 of our people four of the scientists we selected for support have already gotten 4-year NIH grants, National Institute of Health grants. We've held 2 workshops, or 2 meetings. One had 100 people from around the world talking about mechanisms of cell division and problems with the genome that can happen during that. Very well attended meeting. Another one attracted 150 people who are investors and leaders in biopharma, representing $10 billion worth of assets, and they came to Oklahoma with help from PHF. And already OMRF's got $400,000 in contracts out of that meeting, with many more sure to follow. So in all those respects, it's been a real success for us so far, and we very much appreciate it.
Well, research is certainly an emerging market here. It's nice to see the diversification from just the energy sector. I know research is certainly a growing area here. Right next to me, Dr. Jim Tomasek, Vice President of Research at OU Health Science Center. And how does this help you guys out?
Well, let me follow what Dr. Kincaid said, and I really need to thank PHF for their vision and support of research going on here in Oklahoma City and all the entities that they support. For the Health Sciences Center, as Paul said, NIH funding is getting harder and harder. The award rate now is approximately 10 to 15%. So that means even excellent awards don't get funded. And for our researchers, what that means is if they've got a break in their grant funding, they could potentially lose their technicians, their postdocs, and with that, that really puts a halt to the research, and to build it back up again is very difficult. So the PHF funds, one of the things, major things they do for us is provide bridge grants for our NIH investigators between support to keep their labs going and to give them the funds they need to address any critiques on the NIH grants. And so far with these, we've been able to support a number of bridge grants, and we've got 2 that have received NIH funding, so that's excellent. In addition, that also supports equipment grants, so we purchased 3 new pieces of equipment that are multi-user equipments that are helping people across the Health Sciences Center, as well as seed grants for both junior faculty who need to get their research up and going. It's very difficult to get that kind of funding, so having the PHF awards are really helpful for our researchers, as well as seed grants for senior people who may be funded but have a novel idea, and again, this gives them funds to get that novel idea up and going. That's different than what their other funding's working on. The other thing that we've just recently started is we've got 3 awards that were supported by a collaborative research type of grant, and this combines a basic scientist and a clinical scientist together to try to move basic science and translate it to the clinical setting as fast as possible. We also have a symposium that's been supported by this. In fact, it's meeting today. It's a 2-day meeting. It's an international ovarian cancer conference, and we've got speakers from over 7 different countries and over 100 people attending that conference. So these funds are really important for us to maintain the research effort going on at the Health Sciences Center.
Tom, how did you guys pick the recipients? You mentioned there was an awful lot of people who were interested and applied. How did you pick your recipients?
Well, as these guys are very, very smart guys, as you can tell.
Yes.
And when we open up the application process, the people at the OU Health Science Center and at OMRF do a very good job of scrubbing and looking at the applications. In addition, we have a 3-person scientific advisory committee at the Presbyterian Health Foundation, and they take the applications that are coming in from the various research institutions and really take another hard look at those, make sure that the science is good. We need really good science. My background's business, so I'm not going to be
I'm certainly not the background of science either.
You know, acquiescing to the science part of it. So
with you on that.
So we're relying on a team of very, very qualified scientists that are on our advisory committee and basically a subcommittee of our grants committee of the Presbyterian Health Grants Committee. So.
Gentlemen, you both mentioned conferences and people attending. Are you seeing more of that as you provide that opportunity? People from around the nation are coming to you guys?
Well, we hope so, and we know so, in fact, that we brought some outstanding people here. We know that if we get the right people, the right mix, and the right meeting on the right subject, that you can have a meeting that's world-class, and your problem is turning away people, basically, because it'll be popular and it'll be important.
And it's difficult to get the funds for these types of international meetings, so having these funds from PHF is really a great bonus for us. Plus, what it really does as well is gives us an opportunity to showcase the research that's going on at the Health Sciences Center and at OMRF. So being able to bring in international speakers here and let them see what's going on in Oklahoma in terms of the great science we have here, it's difficult to get that kind of exposure. And having these types of international meetings and the funds to support that is really critical for our research.
Yeah. And to echo, one of the things that Dr. Kincaid referred to was the biopharma investor group that came last spring. None of those people had been to Oklahoma before. So we were really able to showcase Oklahoma and Oklahoma City and what we've got going on. And it's one of those kind of intangible things, and we'll have to see what it brings in the future, but it looks very promising.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, very nice to meet you today. Thank you for stopping in. Thanks for sharing your stories, and congrats
Great.
on everything.
Thank you for having
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
More
very
information, by
much.
the way, can be found online at phfokc.com.
Okay.